So, good day, internet world. We are here today to talk about the April spring edition of Salonpreneur Magazine with
Oh
a
yeah, got my
beautiful salon on the front. I know you've got yours too. And I know, and I love this cover so much. And Anna's Salon, Elegant Beauty, it's just such a beautiful salon. And when I saw, I was like, what are we going to have on the front cover this quarter? And I was like, we're going to go salon rather than person. It's just like a bit different. Anyway, so we're here today to talk about Debbie's article, who is with Debbie Allen. And her article is on page 20. You'll notice the hand bookmark, which you get if you are a print subscriber. Yeah. And Tanish or not Tanish? That is the question. And it's something, isn't it, Debbie, that we kind of, it's like a massive thing in the industry now. So firstly, welcome to the spring podcast.
Hi there.
And yeah. And yeah, so what made you write about niching? Because it's a big thing, and it gets bandied about a lot, doesn't it?
I think it is a big thing, and I think the funniest thing with niching at the moment is you have a lot of coaches who are teaching other coaches they should be niching
Yeah,
because the original coach who's doing all the teaching
yeah.
hasn't got a niche, so they're now decided our niche is teaching other people that they need to niche.
Yeah, you're a
And
niche
then
coach.
everybody's trying to put themselves inside a little box to fit this little niche that this bigger coach has told them to do.
Yeah,
And we never do find out what the original coach's
niche is.
is. No, it is
I
quite
just think
funny.
it's just an odd one, isn't it? Because I think, and I know we've had the conversation, and it's something that Teresa Fotherin, who writes the magazine, her column is the generalist. And it's a conversation I know I've had with you, and I've had a lot with Teresa about the fact that, we do come into this industry as generalists, don't we?
Yeah.
We come in, and I mean, unless you come in via nails or you come in via lashes, or you come in via massage, but even then it still diversifies, doesn't it? Everything we do has so many layers.
I think so. And even those that start out as a massage therapist, maybe they start learning Swedish massage or go into the sports massage, they always end up adding the things on. And even some massage therapists, well, actually, I now want to do a little bit of Reiki, or I want to work into a little bit more of mindset, or I'm going to add in reflexology, and just broaden it. And the reason is because a lot of clients want, they build up a trust with the therapist and, oh, do you do this? Do you do that? No,
Yeah,
I don't. And particularly in beauty therapy, I'm thinking of my daughter Amy. She was niched down a little more until she moved.
yeah,
And there's not so many salons around her. So her clients are coming, and maybe they've come for semi-permanent makeup, or she does an awful lot of specialist facials. But those clients who spend money on that and self-care and like to look after themselves go somewhere else for waxing, say.
yeah.
And you don't get many salons that are just waxing. So they're going somewhere else and they're traveling somewhere else. She's perfectly capable of waxing, but it wasn't her favourite thing to do.
Mm.
But she's brought it back because
Yeah,
actually someone's going to come for a facial, well, they might as well add on their half leg wax.
yeah, absolutely.
It's one consultation. It doesn't really make it that much longer. And if you're good at waxing something, your job done in 20 minutes. Save that person a journey. And I also think it saves the fact that someone thinks, well, if I went to that salon down the road, I could have it all done.
Mm. I think it's a strange concept, because weirdly, when I moved to Norfolk and I set myself up again, having thought I was done with all of the salon like service provision, and I set up again, I set up full service. But weirdly, and was like proper generalist, like facials, waxing, nails, whatever, everything, massage, the lot, did all of it. And all I ever got booked was massage. So in the end, but because there's an awful lot of people around me, and I think some of it does come down to what's around you, doesn't it? And now I have niched, but now I'm getting clients saying to me again, like, oh, don't you do? And it's like, well, actually, no, I don't, because I've got rid of my wax kit now, and I don't do facials anymore, and I don't do nails anymore. And yet I've still got most of the kit, and I do keep thinking maybe I need to stop niching again.
Yeah.
And it's so reading your article this quarter was actually like, oh, like what? Yeah, because I'm in a
But
bit of a crossroads again.
but if you're starting up again in a new area, I mean, for me it's different. I probably am more niche just because I'm older, I've done a lot, um, and time constraints
Yeah,
for what I can and can't offer, where the time is. But I haven't really, so maybe with treatments it feels like I've niched, but I haven't niched in business
no,
down because if someone said to me, I want a waxing refresher, oh, it'd be like a kiddie asked, someone with my grandkids, do you want to get the slime out today? Oh yeah, I'll come have a play.
yeah,
I can do this, I can hone that down, I
absolutely.
can help you improve your technique. With someone wanting to pregnancy massage, for me to go out to teach a team or something in a spa or salon, yeah, I'd love to come out and do that. It may be not what I'm doing day in, day out.
Yeah,
It's something I've done for that many years that I can go and help a team do. So there is all of that. So there is training, there is the coaching, there is the mentoring side. And there aren't bits that I want to give up because if I gave it up, my life would be a bit boring. I
yeah. That's
just
why
do
I stay
this.
doing a lot of the stuff I
It's
do because
like niching down on what you eat, where I only really just eat bread.
yeah,
We would be bored, wouldn't we? But
yeah,
that's what I have every day. If I was Victoria Beckham and doing the whatever she has, boiled fish, isn't it, and broccoli, that's a
mm,
real little niche of food.
yeah. I can't imagine it.
For
Yeah,
me, that variety wouldn't work. And I need colour and variety in all aspects of life. I think that's important. And I think, you and I as women, so how could we really niche too much?
mm,
Because you're great at all tech stuff,
yeah.
as well as being great at therapies, but also you can run up a pair of curtains. Should
I
you?
can.
Should you?
Until, interestingly, until my dogs then decide to pee up them and I have to wash them and they've shrunk. I know. And as anybody watching this, last summer I spent probably 2 or 3 weekends making very big curtains, huge curtains. And yeah, and they're now ruined thanks to my dogs. But there you go. Hey ho. Yeah.
But it is that.
But I can run another setup because I can sew.
Yeah. But this is it. You're not limited. You're not
No.
saying, look, because I'm good at sewing and soft furnishings,
Mm,
I'm probably not very good at cooking. Well, you are.
yeah.
And if you looked at I don't know, entrepreneurs like Deborah Meaden,
Yeah.
if we said what is the one industry, but if you watch Dragon's Den,
Mm,
she puts her fingers in. There are more that she's drawn to, but
yeah.
still, it is wide, it is varied, isn't it?
Yeah.
She started off in
Absolutely.
the holiday park industry,
Yeah.
but that's certainly not her niche now. She's broadened everything. So
Is and I think as well is it has to come down to what interest you does it. Like I'm using like Deborah Meaden as an example, or even any of the dragons really. They tend to focus in an area that is a broad spectrum. That it doesn't actually matter what you sit in underneath that. They have an interest in, like, she has an interest in green and ecology
yeah,
and environmental. And Stephen Bartlett will have an interest in, like a lot of online stuff
yeah.
because that's where he's developed his craft and his skill. And but you can then apply that to anything. And I think that especially if you're in if you're in education and coaching and in helping other businesses, that you have that umbrella effect of all of those years of experience that you can bring to it. And even with waxing, I mean, I know there's people in the industry that like all they do is intimate waxing. They don't do anything other than intimate waxing. I mean, me personally, I can understand that there's a methodical pattern to it, and there's a that feeling of achievement of like zero hair and all the rest of it. It's fantastic, but I literally could not do that day in day out. I'd have to bring, and I know a few people that have actually started bringing other bits back because things, I don't know, patterns change, don't they? And society doesn't always want what society has wanted for the last 5 years. And I think like if you cut everything out and you become single service, because that to me, if you niche, you are really becoming pretty single service. If you niche down that much, then you lose. How much of the other stuff that you've gathered over the years do you lose? You lose touch with. I mean, it's like if I had to pick up nails again at the moment, I haven't done a nail client for 4 years. and I'm not, I mean, I know that the muscle memory would still be there, but I don't know how proficient I'd be. I don't know how the muscle memory whether that would bring my skill back overnight.
But for some people, it does work, because perhaps they're not as passionate about all the other stuff.
Mm.
And it's really, really hard to day in and out, every day that you turn up for work, do bits that don't bring you joy. So if they think I'm really, really good at something and you've got enough clients, and that's the key, isn't it? If you've got enough clients to just do that one thing, maybe it'd be nails, maybe it's lashes or intimate waxing, as you said. Sometimes in hair salons, you'll get somebody that's just a colorist. I say just because that's quite a broad thing anyway. That's very broad and very technical. So they are there creating something different on each client every day, on a variety of clients in the color world. And they're really honing their skills, keeping up to date with all new trends, new products, new techniques, and that works in a visit. But it can be quite hard if you're a solo. I think if you're a solo hairdresser that just does colouring, I'm not sure how well that would fit, because you've got to send them off to a different salon for the cut, whereas they're just going to the next chair down. Once their colour's done, isn't it?
And even like, when you consider where the industry's going with like all of the space rental and stuff, is that and particularly in hair. I mean, I'm not a hairdresser. I know you originally trained in. I'm sure you trained in hair, didn't you? Originally,
hair and beauty, yeah.
But in hair, if you're a solo business, I suppose there's always a way that yes, you can do it if you've got, like you say, if you've got enough clientele and you've got enough following, then maybe you can become and just be a solo colour specialist, and that's the only thing you do. But to try and build a business doing an individual service, I think has got to be so hard, hasn't it?
Yeah. To build from scratch now.
Yeah.
If you've been doing something for years, I mean, some of the clients that I've got for some of my therapies is because I've been doing it for over 40 years, and people know me. I live in the same area. I've got the same sort of circles. It's different. So I've naturally niched down to what I feel I can give for one-to-one therapies.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be able to do that now. As you and I, we try, we both do control, don't we? Type of coaching with hypnotherapy, mindset coaching. Now, new people coming through doing that who didn't have all of their clients from previous therapy backgrounds, it's much harder.
Yeah.
Because they've got one therapy that they want to take out, and they've got to try and get known to and get visible for, but they're not known for therapies.
No.
And I think it's really hard, whereas I brought it in someone who had a big client base, who had a much bigger base of people who work with me generally in complementary therapies. So I think it's slotted in easier. But if I was doing just that from scratch, having done nothing previously and starting a business from scratch, and you and I have in a way both restarted.
Yeah.
I have restarted a business.
And I think what you're saying there, like with the control, with being a control practitioner, is that even though I've got an established, I've got an established business to a degree where I am now, but it's still, I'm still in a growth thing, which is why in the end it was like I was trying to be everything to everybody. And I think one of the things that this kind of speaks to is that you can't niche until you know everything, kind of thing. You have to have the experience and the years behind you and the wisdom of treatments and the wisdom of all the stuff that you've learned and how you interact with clients and what treatments you do like doing, what treatments you don't like doing. You've got to have gone through those processes to be able to niche. And it's like now I am very niched with my services. I mean, now I offer aromatherapy, reflexology, massage, and hypnotherapy, and that's it. But the hypnotherapy bit, because it's new to me and it is a completely different modality to anything I've ever done. So that is like trying to start, like you're just saying, the people that come to it from nothing find it really, really difficult. But even though I'm fairly established and experienced in everything else I do, that still isn't part of who I am yet. it still has, like for you, you're a few years down the line with that kind of stuff, way more than I am. So for you, it's still like a natural progression. But for me, it's like, I'm still in the teething part of that bit of my world. And it's an odd thing. And I most definitely could not niche down to being a control practitioner at the moment. It would not pay my bills. Definitely not, because it's not something I talk about enough. And I haven't got the experience behind me to make that the whole of my world. So I think for me, like niching has to come from, like when I was in my salon, I was like a full service salon. I don't think I would have wanted to niche then, because I enjoyed offering all of those different services. And like you say, going to give you the colour and the variety, make your day a pleasure to do, because
and it doesn't dilute your skills. I think that's what you're a jack of all trades. I mean, that's an absolute rubbish, because we are so capable of doing so many things. And I think I said in the article, it's like saying if you're good at driving a car, you should be able to ride a bike. And that's what people are saying, aren't they?
Yeah.
So if I'm really, really good facialist, when I go home, does that mean I will be incapable of cooking a dinner? No, because I'm really skilled in multi areas. So why in my salon and my practice can I not?
Yeah.
But equally, there are those who don't enjoy doing the other types of treatment.
Yeah.
So niching is a natural thing. Look, I've learned all of this. I don't want to sit and do a manicure and pedicure. I am going to just focus on skin, but then don't just do facials.
Yeah.
I'm going to look at all of the ways I can enhance my practice as a skin expert.
Yeah.
All of the thing, and they go right from nutrition through to making sure they have all the right retail for their clients, that they've done all the add-on and advanced trainings. So they're going to broaden that.
Yeah. And so really, like the niche isn't necessarily about, like when you put it in those terms, it is about, you are still broadening, you're becoming a generalist within the skin thing, because you've got to have all that other underpinning knowledge. It's no good just going, I just offer facials and I'm just going to do a cleanse, tone, moisturize, and maybe a bit of exfoliation here and there. You've got to truly understand the deeper levels of the skin to be able to be a skin specialist. So you've still got to enhance that knowledge and learn all of that stuff and get the experience and the wisdom to be able to speak to the clients that are going to come to you because you're a specialist.
And even if you don't offer the service, you do need to have, if you're going to be a specialist, you need to have learned all of the different modalities around that particular treatment. So for a skin specialist, if you want to be a real specialist and the client said, yeah, but what about, I was thinking of going and have microdermabrasion, you don't do that. You need to know the why. Oh no, I don't have that. I don't have a, why do you choose not to have that? And then tell the client, because I think this, and this is better for the skin, would have better impact for you. It's not that I don't do it, it's that I don't think that's a useful service now for skin with the science that we now have available. There's loads of stuff, but you need to know it. You need to have developed it. You need to not just, oh, I don't do that, or I don't do a hydrofacial, or I don't do... I think someone asked me the other day, why don't I use... they've read all the hype about, the wood used in the warm bamboo massage. They like chair doweling legs. To me, it looks like a carpenter's just made something. Wood doesn't.
I do have bamboo in my treatment list, but I don't actually advertise it. I just use them if I feel they're necessary. So I wouldn't do that.
There, and I would have the reason. I'm trained in it. I've had it. I sold it on that kit because I realised that I would actually find hot stones more powerful, and the natural form stones. I mean, you can get the lava shells. There's a reason why I don't do it, but it's knowing all of these and knowing what you can offer for your client, having the best bits that you feel are the most therapeutic tools.
And where your passion sits as well, isn't it? I do think, we do come across niche all the time. And I do think you can't, I think it's potentially wrong to try and get, if you've got a young therapist who's coming to, they've recently left college, hopefully they've gone and had a job in a salon, so they've got some of that browsing experience. and then they decide they want, they want to set up and be at home and do the home cabin or whatever, and they're going to niche. But I think to the question of it for me is, have they got enough knowledge of everything and enough experience that they can then niche? If you're 25 years old, you might feel, I know at 25 I felt like I knew the whole world, but you don't know the whole world, and you're learning so much. And to stop your opportunities, because to me it's like there's an element of niching that kind of just goes, well, I'm just gonna stop now, I'm gonna put the blinkers on, and I'm only going to look at this area. And I think when you're when you're in your later years, such as we are, you've got all of that experience to go, actually, I've been there, done it, bought the t-shirt, I've decided I don't like the one that fits like this and the one that fits like that. So we come from a place of experience to be able to say that's enough of doing that. But I think when you're fairly early on in your career, being told to niche or advised to niche, or you see it online, so you think is what you should do, I think it's really limiting, and they could be missing out on so much that could make their businesses so much more vibrant.
But also, if they're looking for jobs and applying for jobs, you look what they want. They want you to do all of that.
Yeah.
It's all level 2, all level 3. Bonuses are for extra complimentary level, but there's an awful lot in a job description that doesn't allow for, even in a spa. Okay, there may be that you're not doing electrical body work, or you're not doing electrical facials, but you're doing all of facials. They're still doing manicures and pedicures. With gel polish, you're still doing all of the body treatments, all different types of massage. It's still a varied thing, because people go for they want to come out fully pampered in a spa. They don't want, well, we don't offer that, because then they will pick a different spa. So you're looking at salons and spas. People do want you to have a broad variety. And for me, when I first went out, I had to have everything and even learn more. So there is more from a job. And then if at a later date you've really niched down, and then you want to go into teaching, okay, if you're going to run your own courses, but you want to get a job in further education, they don't want someone to just come in and teach massage. It's very rare you're going to have someone that, okay, we just want a reflexology teacher. They want somebody that has more broader skills.
Yeah, definitely.
That can offer, so that you can teach across a whole course, a level 1, a level 2, a level 3, maybe a level 4, and you're not going to go in and teach level 4 without having had all the other stuff behind you that you're good at.
I mean, and I'm sure you remember when I think I'm trying to think if it was we first met years and years ago, and I was opening my salon, and I had all of my massage stuff, I had all of my nail stuff, I had quite a lot of different bits and pieces and other areas that I'd done. And then, but I was opening a full service salon, but at the time I was doing it, I didn't have facial qualification, I didn't have a waxing qualification. So I came to you, and you put me through my facials and waxing like level 2, so that because I didn't want to be in a position that, because I was quite specialist in nails and I was quite specialist in massage before I had the salon, I was in a niche position, and I then was going to have this like full service salon that if one of my team members wasn't there, or they were ill or whatever, I couldn't step in because I wasn't general enough. And so I had to broaden my horizons massively moving in there. And I think I probably spent the next 2 years adding more and more stuff so that I could literally cover any eventuality in my business. The only thing I never did was microblading and teeth whitening. So teeth whitening was a thing when I first had the salon. Obviously not something we do nowadays. But I think, for me, if I hadn't have expanded my horizons, I don't know that my salon would have been as successful as it was, because I was still very much hands-on in the business all the time. And if there'd only been one person coming in, periodically to do different bits and pieces, we would never have made it.
But also, how would you have managed a salon and people with the ordering and the stock if you didn't know anything about that treatment? Your staff could be telling you anything, couldn't they? You understand what they're doing and how they can run their column, because you knew the timings, you knew what it entailed, you know products.
And I'm a control freak.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah,
got it
so
all
I
back to
think
you.
even as a manager, you need to have a
Yeah,
broad overview
yeah,
of what, when you're in that environment and it's more, you do need to know what's
yeah.
what.
Because I do often wonder when you get, because I know quite a few salon owners that aren't therapists, and that how they get that understanding. And obviously, it's a lot of numbers and information, so anyone's capable of learning the inventory side, and the timing side. But it's obviously something you can learn. But I think unless you're in there doing it yourself, it's there's nothing like proper hands-on understanding, is there?
No, and I
And
think if we go back to thinking when we mentioned earlier about the dragons in Dragon's Den, none of them started up here. They
no,
started at the coalface, didn't they?
yeah,
That's what
absolutely.
made them such good entrepreneurs. So I'm not going to go and buy a business. I
Yeah,
think, and in all lines, you see people that there was a point years ago when everybody suddenly became a property developer. Do you remember that
yeah,
era before it all?
yeah.
Who didn't know what they were doing, who bought and bought and bought, and it was such a good idea. And I'm going to do this, I'm going to turn this around. And then the market crashed and they
Yeah,
were all really caught out. Now, those who that actually was their thing from the ground up, that
yeah,
they learned that, probably, started off, with building firms and all sorts of actual stuff, got their hands dirty. They're still going. There's
yeah,
houses being built everywhere, aren't they? They're still
mm,
going. But those people who thought, well, that looks like an easy way to make money,
yeah, yeah,
crashed. And I do know a couple of people who crashed really badly in the sort of earlier in the 2000s when that market did crash, and lost everything.
yeah,
But that wasn't what they did. I mean, one chap, I knew his wife was lovely. She was lovely. He sold beds for a living, and he just saw this thing I could go in and do, and they just remortgaged and bought all the properties. And yeah, because he didn't really know that market,
yeah. And I
and he
think
did
we
it.
yeah, we have to just be careful, don't we? It's like as you're talking, I'm just thinking it's like, it's the classic like putting all your eggs in one basket, isn't it?
Yeah.
And if you niche and you do put all your eggs in one basket, it's like let's be controversial and look at some of the advanced therapy, the advanced treatments that are available now. The people are still training, and we know that at some point on the horizon, the timeline keeps moving and changing, and
Yeah.
no one really knows quite what it's all about.
Yeah.
But people are still niching into that aesthetic world of injectables and all of those advanced, in like sort of semi-invasive, invasive treatments. And it's not something I've ever done. I can't speak about it because I've never had one of those. Well, I have had a couple of those treatments, but it's not something that I do, and it's not something that I experience a lot of. But we know as an industry that is something that a lot of people, because they see there's potential revenues and profits and stuff there, a lot of people are diverting into that way of being. And if you come into the industry and you immediately start niching into something that's invasive, potentially with everything that's happening, you could be in a position where you have no foundational skills. And it isn't if everything that comes to fruition that is promised, you could have no business in
But
X number of years.
and
I mean,
and
let's not
that's
even put a
exactly
date on it. We don't know.
that is exactly what's happened in Scotland, though. People have
Yeah,
practically lost businesses overnight,
yeah,
haven't they? Because they didn't have the fallback. And what I'm saying to people doing that, I mean, level 7 in our
mm,
industry may never allow us to work
yeah,
if regulations come in.
yeah,
That is a thing. It would be good if the training was adequate. I'm not entirely sure, having seen what's happening at those levels, it is adequate. I'm going to be honest,
yeah.
for that type of invasive therapy, because you're never going to be a prescriber.
No.
So you
Well,
want
no,
you rely,
unless you put yourself through not only the level 7 of our side of the industry, but unless you put yourself through the clinical side, you're never going to be able to prescribe.
no, and that's a lot, and to maintain your license as a prescriber, there's an awful lot more to it.
Yeah,
So businesses could fold. If anyway you were a real true skin professional and that was the icing on the cake, you've still got all that foundation, haven't you? But if you've just quickly gone through a route to niche there, that's probably one of the less stable
yeah.
things that you could do in our industry at the moment.
And I think it's hard, isn't it? Because you can see the appeal of anybody doing it. It doesn't matter how old you are. You can see the appeal because the treatment, you know, the profit margins on some of those treatments are huge, and you can see why people want to get into it. But I just think he's like, you know, and I know I've got a friend who has been, and I think she's done her level 7, but she's already starting to come back to a more full service offering, because I think she can see, she even though she's done all of her qualifications and she's really amazing at what she does, she's getting to a place where she's starting to protect her business, I think, is what's happening.
It's
And
protect your
because she
business.
can see that at some point the bubble's going to burst, and it may even be that all of the stuff that's going on with the regulation doesn't even come to the England part of the UK. It may just be that fashion changes and trends change, and everyone goes, actually, I don't want my lip filler anymore, and I don't want to have whatever treatment done any longer, because now the person that I watch on Instagram has had all of theirs taken out and isn't doing it anymore. And, you know, we know that, you know, like intimate waxing goes in peaks and troughs. And I know with my business, you know, we had times when we were so busy with it. And even just seasonally, it changes. So let alone when there's a trend that, you know that there's a trend of like women being less attentive to their intimate areas, and it's changing and coming back out to a more natural thing. Maybe we might see men with like clean shaven faces, because there's supposed to be an analogy, isn't there, between men having beards and ladies having nothing, who knows. But you do see all these weird trends, don't you? And we could, you know, the whole everything, even nails, lashes, you know, lashes we've seen a change in. And we can see that, like, you know, a lot of the big lashes, you know, you see less females with lashes on all the time now, and those big heavy lashes.
I think so. And those people that would just lash techs, even if you are in a lash, I think you've got to do, it will be broaden that, and then you're going to make more per client, aren't you? So it's less turnover of clients if you did lashes and brows. And there were times when people couldn't have lashes on, you made sure that you could do lash lifts, lash tints, so that when things change, people could, you know.
I think niching's great whilst there's a trend, whilst there's, you know, whilst there's demand for it.
Yeah.
But if the demand fades, either like for aesthetics through potential regulation that's going to come in, or through Instagram trends changing, because that's what a lot of our industry is now built on, is what's happening on Instagram. And if that changes and you haven't got other things to back up your services with, then niching could be like the worst choice you ever make, couldn't it?
Yeah. And I wonder if because it all changes and we're all led by what these coaches are telling us, you know, quite a lot in the online space, or you go to big events and they're telling you this. Have you not noticed that whatever the coaches are saying, there's a lot of them have done a complete about face as well, changed what they told you should be doing last year when it was niche is changing, and they're telling, because their niches haven't worked out. So now we can't lose face here. So we need to say, well, that was what worked in businesses then. Business has evolved, so we need to change, and so that they can still stay relevant. When they said you had to niche. Now they're changing it as well. And really, I think what you've got to do is what really works for you.
Yeah.
What you feel really comfortable with. And it's really, really difficult in life and business doing something that doesn't feel comfortable.
Yeah.
Doesn't sit well. And if you get up each day and think, oh God, so and so's coming in today, oh I hate nails, I wish I didn't have to do that, then maybe you have to think that, okay, that's been bringing me in some income. How can I change? How can I change that I'm not doing the bits that I really don't want to be doing? It's not necessarily niching, it's just kind of shedding.
Clearing the decks a little bit.
Shedding some of the bits that you don't enjoy, that no longer bring you joy. Or for me, day in, day out, I physically aren't strong enough to do endless amounts of massage.
Yeah, me too. Hands are sore.
Yeah. So there's no good. If that ever was my niche, I would have been in a problem. I
Yeah,
would be a
this is
real
it, and it's one of
bottleneck.
and it's true, and it's one of the reasons that I started doing controls, because I know long term that
Yeah,
they've earned me a lot of money over the years,
yeah,
but going forward they're going to earn me less and less as the arthritis creeps in and everything starts stiffening up, because I can feel it. And I think, I think so really, like, the message of all of it is just like, if niching suits you, then brilliant. And but always be aware that you need to be prepared, and it is, you need to have a backup plan.
yeah. And also, just because people have said you need to niche, it may be those people saying it just don't have a broad enough skill set themselves. So they want to put other people in a box. And I often find that. I mean, there was someone you and I know that did call me Jack of all trades at one point, and I
Mm.
did share with you. She who I will not name because it's not fair, but and I did come back to her quite, and I said, no, I'm not a jack of all trades. That all of the things I do is because I've mastered them,
Yeah,
so that I can and am able to be good, and have spent years honing my craft. So no, I'm not a jack of all trades, but yes, I am lucky enough to have a broad range of therapies
yeah,
that I can offer, and a broad range of the types of businesses that I've run, so that I can, and had made all the mistakes and seen all the pitfalls,
yeah,
and so that I am able to help people and encourage people in what they do.
yeah,
So I think jack of all trades is a horrible, because that'd be like saying us housewives are a bit of a jack of all trades, wouldn't it? Those people that do,
yeah,
actually no, we're really, really good at doing it all and juggling
yeah,
it all. Um,
yeah.
we don't want to
Spinning those
be.
plates.
Yeah, we could, we'd quite happily hand over a few things, but actually
Yeah,
when we look at it, we're doing it because we know that we're good at it.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I think we just really need to, in our businesses, we just need to know, what works for us. And yes, listen to other people's views and points of view, and learn that what works for them doesn't always work for us. And each person, as we're all individual, we can't all, if we all put each other's shoes on, it feels weird.
Yeah.
And you have to work out what shoes fit you, so you can walk the path that you need to make your business a
Yeah.
success.
Yeah.
And understand that, yeah, somebody else's journey is not your journey.
No, and we're not running McDonald's chains, are we? Where everybody has to
No,
be the same. Our
no,
businesses are very unique to us. Our therapies that we do are very unique to us, and we know ourselves best. We
yeah,
actually do know what we're capable of. So
yeah,
that's important. So no one else will know you and your capabilities as well as you. And other people judging what you do or don't do isn't really relevant. Yeah, have a coach, have a mentor, discuss it through, but make sure you're not looking at life through a bit of a blinkered lens that
yeah,
maybe that coach is.
yeah,
That's the thing, isn't it?
yeah, definitely. So the question is, have we answered the question to niche or not to niche? I think there's
Yeah.
so many angles to it, isn't there? And I think it is, like you say, it comes down to your own experience, your own job list of the things that you can do, and making sure that you stay true to you and what works for your business, and don't feel pressured to have to become like a single track road, because it makes it quite difficult to get off sometimes. Anyway, should we leave it there? Okay, so thanks ever so much, Debbie, for joining me today, and I will see you next time for this.